Well, we're back for our final morning out here in the wilderness in northern Wyoming. We got to head on today and take care of some errands. The most pressing one today is we need to stop in Buffalo, Wyoming, so we're making our way back there this morning. And we have to get over there to pick up a new seat that we've ordered. We've already paid for at Mr. R's Auto Salvage in Buffalo, Wyoming. So we have to get back over there, pick that up, so we have a seat in the front of the van for Melanie to ride in, so she's not riding in her lawn chair anymore. I did offer to let her drive the big truck and I'd ride over there sitting on a box or something, but I think she wasn't crazy about tackling that just yet. I'm sure she'll get to it eventually when she's had a little more exposure to this big rig. This morning it was chilly, 40 degrees or so outside and 42 degrees inside when I got up at 6 o'clock. So we solved that problem by turning on our Mr. Heater Portable Buddy. These things are, in a lot of ways, the bomb for simple heat. And they've been a standard in the van life world and to some extent the RV world for a long time, because RV heaters tend to take a lot of power. In addition to the propane, they take a lot of electricity to run. And a lot of people can't run them off grid very long. They end up with dead batteries in the morning. So this thing is kind of a standby, and there's a few considerations with them. One is that it does tend to put out a fair bit of moisture. It's very dry here, and we're only running it for a short period of time, so I don't think we'll have any issue. But if you're in like a wet winter type weather and you're running it for extended periods of time, it'll pump a lot of moisture into your rig, which is definitely a problem. But the beauty of these things is that they're no electricity. You just hook up the propane and they work. So that's a huge bonus. Whenever I have one of these things or any other heating system, I always make sure I have a smoke alarm and a carbon monoxide alarm just to be safe. And with the Mr. Heaters, they'll tell you to make sure you have adequate ventilation. The manual will give you the number of square inches of ventilation you need, but you do want some ventilation so you don't burn up all the oxygen in your rig and have no oxygen left for you to breathe. So we're getting ready this morning, packing up. We're basically ready to go anyways, but because we kind of packed up last night a bit. But we're getting ready. We're going to head out this morning, and we're going to make a stop in Greybull, Wyoming, and hopefully the place is open. There's a really cool-looking vintage or antique aerial firefighting equipment museum there that we definitely want to check out, which is to say they've got like vintage firefighting airplanes there, and so we definitely would like to check that out. We saw it coming by and said that's pretty neat, so we're going to make a stop there. Then we're going to be on to Mr. R's in Buffalo to pick up our seat, which is super simple to install in this truck. Then we'll hopefully find a place to camp somewhere cool tonight again, and then we'll be back to Gillette for a little bit because we have to do a little more, make some mods on the truck now that we've had it out, did our shakedown run, got a better idea of how things are working, what's working well and what's not working. We know we want to put a kitchen in. That was always planned. We just didn't get to it before we left, and I've got to do something with the electrical system. So this is functioning for now in that the little vintage charge controller, maybe not quite vintage, but it's old, it's underpowered for the amount of solar we got, so we really need to get that situation solved. But it's working in a pinch here to get us through a couple more days out in the boonies, but now we need to get back. And I have a MC4 extension cable on order that is going to allow us to connect our existing solar panels to the Blue Eddy here. And we actually have another small one too that's up on the front of the truck right now. It was around the Star Lake yesterday. So that's going to allow us to connect to the Blue Eddy and get that charged. And this, I don't know, this thing might be adequate for what we need to do. If not, we'll probably just get a second power station to go with it and call it a day and keep things simple. All right, we're arriving at the Museum of Flight and Aerial Firefighting here in Greybull, Wyoming. This is actually tucked right behind the rest area, little rest area here in Greybull. And we saw this the other day and, well, we knew we were going to have to come back and check it out. They're open May to September, Monday to Saturday, apparently. Looks like $5 per person or $17 for a family of 4. We will definitely pay that to get in here and check this out. This is really cool. Melanie says, I don't know how they get this thing up in the air. There's the box truck over there, parked at the rest area. And you see behind the fence here, we've got all this cool vintage aircraft stuff. Off in the distance, there's more. That's at an airfield. Those are all privately owned planes back there. So they say don't go back there. This is just for the planes that are in here. So it's all vintage firefighting stuff, which is really, really cool. Now, I've always thought planes were kind of cool. Some years ago, I actually camped over there near Cody, Wyoming and Powell, Wyoming, where we just were, a little bit different location. I had an opportunity to do a flyover in a small private plane, a 4-seater Mooney, and we flew over the place. We've been camped over there, which was really cool. And the pilot, plane's owner, was gracious enough to let me take a turn at the controls, which was definitely a bucket list type item. And then some years later, I got my Part 107 drone license, and in preparation for that, the course I did was put on by a guy who's a private and commercial pilot trainer, instructor. And so he went into a lot of detail on private pilot stuff, and so it really increased my interest in aeronautical stuff. And I would totally do that if I had the budget. But it's not just the cost of getting my license, it's actually being able to afford to fly a plane. So we're here enjoying this, checking out this vintage equipment here.
Look at these rivets. I mean, you can tell this is like hand done, right? It's just like hand done.
The good old days. Rosy rivet.
Yeah, yeah.
There's a lot of rivets too.
Yeah. Yeah, this is from World War II. Well, I don't know what age this one is, but they were first made it for...
Apparently all but one of these planes out here are in the little brochure they got for you.
It's the first one.
That was a PB4Y2 or Privateer.
My fingernails are dirty.
This thing is massive. And the hatches underneath there, down in the belly.
And what did she tell us about the wheels?
She did mention that inside that we maybe don't stick our head up in the wheel wells because the bull snakes sometimes like to...
There's a bird's nest in this one. ...make
themselves at home up there, so, you know, we don't want to do that. Apparently there's a bird's nest in this one.
Yeah.
Look at that engine, man. That thing is massive. And yeah, there's the bird's nest up there. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Even the wings on this thing are over my head. I can walk right under it. See, I'm walking under the wings here, and there's easily a good foot above my head. So these things are pretty tall. And these tires are massive. I wouldn't want to have to buy them. There you go. Maximum gross weight, 69,990 pounds. Not 70,000, but 69,990. Maximum landing weight, 60,000. I guess that'd be because you burn off enough fuel while you're flying. You can burn off tons of fuel while you're flying.
Well,
and dump. This is also a firefighting one, so you can dump
the weight
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Contracted retardant, 18,000. Normal operating weight, 55,084 pounds. That just blows my mind that these things can even get off the ground. And many of these planes were from Hawkins and Powers Aviation and Greybull, and I think they were from different places now, but that's how this thing got started anyways. Hawkins and Powers Aviation was a firefighting contractor, and when they went out of business at this site, it ended up becoming a museum for aerial firefighting equipment. Oh yeah, Melanie just noticing there's like residue staining on here from the fire retardant.
So it must drop out in this hatch, I guess. Or on those bricks. Okay.
These things are beasts. Wow. You know these things are big, but when you get to walk up next to them, wow. They're just massive. That old birdie up there is not too happy that we're walking around. So fuel trap drain. This one. There we go. Oil tank drain. Engine mount bolt access. Or engine mount bolt access is up there. And look at this exhaust pipe.
This is the one they don't have.
Wow. That's gotta be a foot in diameter. Maximum gross weight, 153,000 pounds. Maximum landing weight, 153,000. Normal operating weight, 126,185. Contracted retardant weight, 27,000 pounds. Wow. And this thing's like a double decker. Oh man, it's massive. I cannot even imagine. Apparently this is a Boeing HP KC-97G, serial number 522698. For those who are interested in such things. Still got the tail number on it. Niner 1365 Niner. Wow. Careful you don't bump your head on that wing. This one apparently was used by the Alaska Department of Natural Resources at some point. Cut here for emergency rescue. Well, might as well plan ahead, I guess.
It's right next to the danger What does it say? Something propeller?
Danger propeller. Yeah, don't get there. Wow.
Stand here.
And there's this thing. Wow, this is unique.
Now this one we have information.
You got the details on that one? Melanie's looking up the details. Well, there it is. We're trying to locate.
Oh, this one. It must be this one. That was.
Is that the one? The Beach 18 or Twin Beach?
I think.
It's a two-engine light transport and trailer? That doesn't seem right.
Well, let's go to the.
Okay. We'll go see what else we can find out for you. This thing is massive. Again, they're all massive, I guess. But wow. This is the tail number. This one's actually open, so we may be able to go in and get a peek. That'll be a hoot. This pod you see on top of the C-119. So apparently it's a C-119.
Oh, C-119.
Is a J-34 jet. That'd be up there where it says 138. So that pod's a J-34 jet. The engine was built by Westinghouse Aviation Gas Turbine Division Company in the late 1940s. The jet will produce 3,400 pounds of thrust. The engine was used for extra power for takeoff and anytime the airplane was used on firefighting missions or working with heavy loads at low altitudes. During the rest of the flight, it was shut down because of the high fuel consumption. In the early 1970s, Hawkins and Powers Aviation added the J-34 jet engines to many C-119s by removing engines from the P-2V Neptune planes. The Neptune engine was redesigned so that it could be mounted on top of the C-119 fuselage. So the C-119, or flying boxcar. Do not turn. Pickled, September 1998. I don't even know.
Pickled, maybe put it in retirement? I don't know. What does that mean?
This thing is just such a boat. It's amazing it flies, honestly. And I understand you have these big wings and the propellers pull the thing forward and the air passes, there's a curve, the air passes over the top faster and creates lift. I get all that, but my goodness, these things are just massive.
Is that for you to hang on? That's the rough seat up there with the handle.
Oh, man. All right, we gotta go check it out. There's no creature comforts engineered into this thing. There's no fluffy plastic trim, you know? Plywood floor, just like our box truck. Hoo-wee. Wow. Oh, man. And everything's like open. And look at this, huh? There's the cockpit that you got to crawl up into. There's a ladder there to crawl up into the cockpit. They have plexiglass here, so we can't actually get up in the cockpit, but wow.
They have the jump seat.
How incredible is this? Oh yeah, Melanie's is known as a jump seat here. A fold down jump seat right at the
dangle.
right at the climb up into the cockpit. Rheostat for the dome lights. This is from back when us amateurs could work on electricity stuff. Yeah. There's a bell for some reason. Spare lamp box. Utility stuff. Oh, look at this. The schematic for electrical things. what they stored down here, but I'm sure it was something, because there's your loading data.
This is what it looked
Nose landing gear, emergency extension.
That's what it looked like when the fire retardant tank was in.
Oh, okay. So there's the fire retardant tank of the C-119. Wow.
So
This is just like a big box truck or something, you know?
well, there you go.
And look at all the cables and stuff, the control cables
Oh, yeah.
running through the ceiling there. I guess you can get to everything. So we have an emergency mid-flight. Hopefully somebody can
You have a broken cable.
come back here and fix something, right? You even got windows. Maybe we should have some little portal windows like this on the box truck. What do you think? Oh, look, we could use stairs like this on the box truck.
Oh, yeah.
Those are nice and sturdy.
That's too nice and sturdy.
The bird's making a nest up here in the
Oh, no.
in this panel.
Emergency jet.
The winch power.
Manual fuel shut off. Like, how are you supposed to get to it?
Emergency jet engine manual fuel shut off. That's for the extra one on the roof, I guess.
When you
And yeah, Melanie says you can't reach it though. So you need a box to stand on. Except for in-flight emergencies, do not remove this junction box cover while battery switch is on, while external power is connected, or while engines are operating, serious fires can result. There's a run-on sentence for you.
That's what we should call her.
Stowage. I
Stowage.
like it. That's a cool sounding term. Stowage.
Stowage. It's not storage, it's stowage.
Delicate unit, handled with care, reusable container. There's nothing about anything in here that looks delicate to me.
It's TWA though, that's kind of cool.
Totally cool, but not delicate. That's not a term I'd think of. Tail here.
This is the tail.
Watch your step going out. It's a long ways down when you're at
Is this the one
30,000
you're supposed to
feet.
speak into?
Is that
Is that a communication thing
communication
or a
thing?
funnel? I don't know.
Or it's probably a funnel for blowing pee in, I bet.
Oh, yuck.
Get your hand sanitizer?
Yeah. All right, I got it.
Got a door on this side. Nice and no frills.
Well, good thing I didn't talk into it.
That's what it looks like to me.
All right.
The tube going out the bottom. I think that's for those in-flight moments when you drank too much coffee before you flew.
The number of rivets is just crazy.
Yeah, a whole lot of rivets in here.
And you just like see how this one's are. I mean, it's like, that's human. That's like so cool.
Yeah, no AI involved in building this thing.
Yeah. The guy on the rivets.
Emergency exit up here. I guess you climb the wall. My granddaughter's real good at that. She was like 3. She'd climb the refrigerator even. So yeah, climb up there. So you can get out. I guess if you have a water landing or something, maybe you
Yeah, that's
go out
true.
the top, huh?
Yeah.
Wow, this is just wild.
They even have ashtrays.
An ashtray. We're definitely dating this thing now.
Yeah. That's not coming down.
They don't even put ashtrays in cars anymore, let alone airplanes.
I can't get it. Gee, you have all this jet fuel and
What could go wrong?
but you can smoke.
Lots of tie-down cleats here in the floor too,
Yeah.
secure
if you
cargo.
look back on that,
or your tanks.
what picture of the tank, you could see all the tie downs.
Yeah, here's a picture of the fire retardant tanks in
Yeah, the lights too.
C-119. This is Wyoming, so of course there's horses next door in this pasture. There's horses everywhere. Everybody's got horses here, except for us. Relatively small plane, which isn't saying much because those things, other things are massive. And this is still not a small plane, but Lockheed P2V7 Neptune. These are the ones they took the engines off of to put up on the top of that other monster over there. Is a P2V7 Neptune, donated to the Museum of Flight and Aerial Firefighting by Richard Camp of Lewes, Delaware, and Save a Neptune. The Maritime Patrol and Anti-Submarine Warfare Aircraft, developed for the U.S. Navy by Lockheed, designed to be a land-based aircraft and never made carrier landings. It was retired from military duty in 1978. The P2V has been flown by several civilian firefighting operations starting in the late 80s, early 90s. It's in use today as an air tanker. However, 2017 is to be the last year the USFS will use the Neptune for firefighting. It will be the last big piston aircraft to fly on USFS fires, being replaced by all jet or turbine power aircraft. As an air tanker, the P2V has a 2-man crew, and when it was used by the military, it had a 7 to 9-man crew. Capable of carrying around 2,000 gallons of retardant. 91 feet long, wingspan of 103 feet 10 inches, height 29 feet, empty weight 49,935, maximum takeoff weight 79,895, maximum speed 363, cruise speed 207 miles, range 2,157 miles. I would hate to have to fill up the tanks in these things. That's all I'm thinking. Our 30-something gallon tank in the box truck's bad enough. Boy.
You get a good view.
So there's the pilot's cockpit up there. So I guess this would have been like a gunner thing or a navigator thing in the front. You know, this is the place you don't want to be riding, guys, because when something goes wrong, you're the first one to hit if you're in this little down here cockpit.
Bird and the lightning bolt. That's kind of cool.
Again, we got the danger propeller line, and above that, rescue with an arrow. So climb up there and forward for rescue, I guess. Jack here, battery vent inlet, and patrol squadron. Squadron looks like 6, 7 something. Do not repaint. Okay.
Repaint.
Radar well vent outlet. Wow. What a hoot. And it's part of a R2600 engine. Small part of a radial engine, also called a cob. The propeller is mounted on a spline shaft. They're on top. See the crank and the connect rods and a few pistons attached to it. Wow.
The other one, so they got two here.
Either PB4Y2 or Privateer. Yeah, you can really see all the dirt. From World War II bombers to fire bombers. Many of the WW2 vintage bomber and transport aircraft flown by today's warbird community can be traced back to a small group of firefighting agricultural spraying companies that operated them well into the 1980s. That was the cockpit of a PB4Y. Not picking up too good shooting through the plexiglass here, but fire retardant tank system of the PB4Y. Both of the PB4Ys in the museum have their fire retardant tank system still in them. However, they're in the middle of the aircraft and are not easily seen. And then we got a comparatively little bitty one over here. Aero Commander 500B. It's a light twin-engine piston aircraft built for carrying passengers or personnel transport. A turboprop version is more commonly used today. The military version, U-4B, became a presidential transport for Dwight Eisenhower between 1956 and 1960. This was the smallest Air Force One and the first to wear the now familiar blue and white livery. It was originally built by Aero Design and Engineering Company in the late 40s, renamed the Aero Commander Company in 1950, and a division of Rockwell International in 1965. The initial production version was a 200-mile-an-hour, 7-seat Aero Commander 520. This aircraft was built in 1962 and is an Aero Commander 500B. This aircraft has approximately 4,000 hours of flight as an air attack aircraft for forest fires around the U.S. While being used as an air attack aircraft, it will fly above a fire with a pilot and a trained government observer to direct air traffic to different divisions on the ground and to assist ground personnel. Very cool. Very cool. This is the flying boxcar. This thing is something. And here we have a 1941 Dodge fire truck that originally belonged to Greybull Fire Department. In the early 70s, Hawkins and Powers purchased it from the town and used the truck to wash aircraft. Well, I thought maybe they were using it to fight fires with, but to wash aircraft. But brush fire trucks are near and dear to my heart. I have 2 children who were wildland firefighters in Montana, based out of Montana, for a few years. My daughter was actually a crew chief, and my son worked with her, and she always made sure he kept out of trouble. And fortunately, they were nice enough to not tell me their scary wildland firefighting stories until after the seasons were over. And there were some dillies. It's a dangerous business, and so we owe a debt of gratitude to those who voluntarily do this sort of stuff. Maybe our next DIY RV build will be a 1941 Dodge. What do you think? Put a custom box on the back. And
it has a bench seat. Do you see?
Does it? Oh, it does. It does. Look at this, huh? All right, for those of you who are more into vintage automobiles than vintage aircraft. And you may be seeing them using buckets to fight wildfires with. These are water buoy buckets, 110 gallons. And here's a well-used one. And the hydraulic piston there that opens the bottom and lets it drop out. That's interesting. I always wondered how they dumped. I thought maybe they had a cable on it. But it's hydraulic. And one more here, another smaller one, Beechcraft Model 18. A smaller twin engine. It's also known as a Twin Beech. It's a twin engine light transport trainer accommodating a pilot and 7 passengers for transport. Introduced in 1937 and production ended in 1969 after building over 9,000 aircraft. These aircraft were sold worldwide by Beech Aircraft Corporation of Wichita, Kansas, to be used for civilian passenger utility and transporting cargo. They were used in World War II and known as C-45s, and depending on which branch of service they were in, were named either Expediter, Navigator, or Kansan. I understand the Kansaning, that makes sense. In the military, they were used for training flight crews, navigators, and bombardiers. The U.S. Forest Service, Hawkins and Powers Aviation, owned 3 Beech 18s. They used them for seating, spraying, and personnel transport. We saw some spraying this morning, but with a helicopter. The U.S. Forest Service used this type of aircraft in the past for personnel transport, utility cargo, and transporting smoke jumpers to fires. This aircraft's on permanent loan from the U.S. Forest Service. And there's the specifications if you're interested in these details. Pratt & Whitney engine in there. Do not turn. The wing lights here, we get a good picture of these because it's shorter than the others.
It said pickled in November.
Pickles in there too?
It was
We're not sure about this pickle thing. We gotta figure this out. And even though the door is open, they ask you not to climb into or on the plane, so we will not. We'll just look inside. Oh, plywood walls and a plywood floor, just like our box truck. Little cargo area, I guess, in the back.
It's 5 mil. It's confident.
It's just about the same thickness, too. Like a Luan type, or 5 mil. So this is just a box, man. They do not have the extra 5 seats in it. There's the pilot's area, the cockpit. And I noticed they have a nice crack in the window, just like all of our vehicles do. We got 4 vehicles, if you count the trailer. 3 of them are motor vehicles, and all 3 of them have cracked windows. So I told you it's just a thing out here in the West. And look, even in vintage firefighting aircraft, we're using bungee cords to retain stuff. is not just me. Well, totally awesome. Very worthwhile place to visit. Great value at $5 a person for admission. If you're in Greybull, Wyoming, you may never be, but if you're in Greybull, Wyoming, just a little bitty town, but if you're heading to Yellowstone or something from parts east, you might just come through Greybull, Wyoming. And if you do, this place is worth checking out. We'll have a link to their website in the description down below if you want to learn more, but definitely really cool. And we did not see any bull snakes. All right, so the beauty of driving your house down the road is you stop somewhere cool, you use the rest area, you go to a really cool museum, and then you say, hey, I think it's time for a snack. It's time for breakfast. And then you just hop back in your truck and grab all your cold foods for a smorgasbord breakfast. Here's a quick cold food masterpiece for you. Turkey and bacon on provolone with some Dijon mustard.
Oh yeah, ice down my back.
We were just commenting on the black cloud that was hanging overhead as we're going over the Bighorn. I'm glad we saw the moose before this, because I wouldn't have wanted to be out filming them. This is quite a little hailstorm going on. Well, I guess we can try and head down the hill a little further and hopefully get out of it, right? Because it don't seem to be slowing down up here, does it? We just drove into this, came out of nowhere. And the reason Melanie was crawling around the hood is because the windshield wiper got flipped over somehow. So, it may need additional service. But hopefully that'll do for us for now. Well, we're approaching Mr. R's Auto Salvage here in Buffalo, Wyoming. Lots of cars and vehicles here. Oh, another box truck looks just like ours. How cool is that? They should have our passenger seat ready for us. Oh, it does not look just like ours. It's the same color as ours, but it's a Ford. Not even close.
Not even close.
There you go. That's pretty wild, man. Same color. Looks like it's pretty much the same box, but it's a Ford instead of a Chevy. Crazy. See y'all, I wasn't kidding. Found her a new seat. They had it ready. So look at that. Nice high back cloth seat.
But I don't have one of these.
Armrest. Oh, go figure. Well, I guess we'll have to find that still. Probably gotta find the seatbelt thing still. You can always put your seat back, you know, so your knees aren't in the dashboard.
Okay.
It reclines too.
Does.
But now you have a tripod behind you.
Yeah. Oh.
All right, we just stopped here at our little favorite roadside stand. I don't know if you can really see it out there. Probably not. Oh well. Anyways, we just stopped at our stand, got some more meat, grabbed some ground beef, $5 a pound for really good quality ground beef. So now, I don't know where we're going. We'll do something though. Mama cow, teach your baby some manners. All these big Bubba trucks gonna run it right over. Is that your baby? You're just laying around too, being lazy. Is that your calf? Huh? right, all that nice scenery you just saw, that was not intentional. We took a back road and I thought I knew where I was going. Still trying to figure out where I'm going. We took a back road anyways. Yeah, thought I knew where I was going. The road split and the signage was virtually non-existent. And so, you know, it's Wyoming. They're too cheap to put up good highway signs here. So, you know, instead of like saying, hey, to the right is the little tiny town nobody's ever heard of that you're trying to get to, and to the left is the Twilight Zone, they just leave us guessing and let us opt for the Twilight Zone. We're gonna get run over by swallows here. Where the heck? There is no road signs anywhere, man.